Today I'm going to show you everything that I think you should know about focal lengths and shooting cars. In a recent video, I was giving tips on what not to do, and I said, don't shoot cars with a wide-angle lens. And when I say wide angle, by my own definition, I mean wider than, say, 28mm zoom on a full-frame sensor. My major gripe with wide angle is that instead of choosing your framing and deciding what you want to focus on, shooting wide just sort of catches everything. In many cases, it's taking your voice out of the creative process. So I wanted to elaborate on this topic and explain what effects focal lengths have when shooting cars. There's a time and place for shooting wide, and I'll go into when that is, but like anything in your camera bag, that is a tool that you can use for specific applications. It's really easy for it to become your default because it's convenient, and that is going to make your photos worse. So let's go through some common focal lengths. I'll be showing the car more or less filling the frame to show the differences in distortion and background separation. The 14mm is just not a serious lens. The subject just looks so gawky, the distortion is cartoonish, and maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want it to look like a 1990s music video. This focal length can be good if you're trying to emphasize dramatic, unusual features, a race car wing or fins on an old Cadillac, or some kind of dimensional detail. It's great for that, but is a tool that you should reach for very sparingly. If you're a working photographer, you probably have a 24 to 70mm lens because it's kind of a jack of all trades, versatile and allows you to move quickly. At 24mm, the car still has a lot of distortion because I'm up close to it, but if you're showing the whole scene from far away, it can be very useful. A lot of times you might have space constraints, and that's when shooting at 24mm can be a lifesaver, but it shouldn't be your default. If you're shooting a car listing or a feature, something that is about the car, this should not be your go-to. The classic. For most camera systems, this lens is affordable and sharp, and the distortion isn't too bad. This is such a good all-around lens, and if this is the only thing you have and you're shooting a car listing, it will come out fine. If you're starting out, it will make you a better photographer because it teaches you to think about your framing, and you have to move around if you want to change how something is composed. If you're shooting street parked cars, this is useful. Basically, if this is your default go-to lens, you're doing okay. So as the focal length gets longer, the car gets more imposing and heroic looking. An 85 is more challenging to shoot cars with than a 50 because you need a lot more space, but the result is richer. The foreground and background are starting to drop away. This is one of my favorite lenses because ultimately it's such a simple way to make your photos look higher quality across the board. The 105mm is similar to the 85, but the car has even less distortion and the background is becoming more abstract. You need a lot of space, but if the goal is to make the car look dramatic, this look provides a punch. Also, as you get farther away, you have more opportunities to have things between you and the subject to provide foreground interest and to create some layers in your composition. This is the last focal length I'll cover, and I'm using a 70 to 200 lens at 200mm. This just looks so deliberate. If you can show the car at this focal length, it looks wall poster ready. Anyone looking at it can immediately tell, oh, you tried. As you get farther away from the car, more things start happening. Your viewing angle gradually changes, which is lowering your perspective naturally, and that helps the subject to look more heroic, more imposing. Even details look really good at long length, and you're less likely to have yourself show up in reflections in chrome because you're further back. To me, one of the magic things in photography is when you can look at a scene and take a shot, and then you look at that photo and the picture you took is not what you saw with your eyes. It's a new thing, it's better, it's dramatic in some way. And you can get this with a long focal length. The way that it compresses the image looks different than how you perceive it with the naked eye, and I love that. It's not that you should never ever use a wide-angle lens, but don't make that your go-to. The aim should be to shoot longer, and shooting close range should be a compromise. So that's it. If you like this video and want to see tutorials on something else, let me know, but please like and subscribe or whatever.